Okay, I'm real excited about this video. This is about the Upfitter control module that's part of the Snow Chief group. If you didn't watch my video on the Snow Chief group, I'll link it in the description. It's a must-have group. There's like 4 features in this group that's worth the $850 price tag. I'm telling you. Upfitter control module is one of them. What is an Upfitter control module? Well, it's Ram's easy way to hook a snowplow up to your truck. That's it. Everything's wired up, completely and totally wired up to auxiliary buttons that are in the dash. And they give you a little plug, and they give you the wires, and all you do is connect it to the snowplow. Now, I'm not getting a snowplow, but you don't have to connect it to a snowplow. I'm actually connecting it to lights. They're connected already. I connected these front two, and they're in the rear bumper. If you watch my rear bumper video, which I'll link in the description as well, I have lights back there, and I have lights in the front here. It is dead simple to connect this up. There's no running anything through the firewall into behind the dash, none of that stuff. The buttons are already wired to a plug system right underneath the hood. Now all you need to do is run the lines. Now, running the lines from the back bumper to the front, that's easier said than done. But if all you're doing is these front lights, this thing should take you a half an hour. It is that simple. Let's get underneath the hood and I'll show you how it works. All right, again, this is very easy. I'm gonna give you close-ups of all the things that I did here as I'm talking. But honestly, we're talking super, super simple. This is why it's worth the money. Just to give you a little overview of the lights that I'm using 4-wheel drive King lights, 10-inch light. It's a 12-inch with the bracket and everything. I'll link them in the description. They're in the front bumper. The front bumper is on a little bit of an angle. So in reality, I don't know if these would be considered like spreader type lights or fog lights or straight ahead lights. But as of right now, and I've only tested them very short amount of time, they seem like they're more of a spread light than a beam straight ahead light as of this moment. They are bright, and for 80 bucks, I'm very happy as of this moment right now. If they don't last more than a month, then obviously I won't be too happy. I'll give you a review, I don't know, maybe towards the end of the winter or something like that. But as of right now, they're pretty bright and I like them. Backlights I'm using are Westin lights. They came with the bumper, and I'll link those in the description. Not that you're really going to need them because they work with this bumper specifically. And but they're cool lights. They're small, 13, 20 lumens, I think, each. And they're also bright. And as of this moment, I used them a little bit. I'm happy with them. I think they're going to be great for backing out of the garage or something at night, or I don't know, loading up a boat on a trailer. It's going to be good. I have those backlights wired. It took me a very long time to wire them the right way. I followed the OEM line from that bumper all the way to here. It took forever. I had to go up over the gas tank. I had to go up over the coil. I had to go up over the spare tire. All that stuff into the wheel well and then up in here. It took a very long time, and it might have even taken 25 feet of wire, 2 different wires. Now, I should talk to you about wire. I use SXL wire. SXL. What is XXL? SXL is basically heavy duty wire. It's 12 gauge wire, but the insulation is super thick. There's 3 different types of wire for automotive use: T, G, and S. T is like the thinnest. I guess T means thin. G, I don't know what it means, but it's the middle. And S, I also don't know what that means, but it's serious is probably what it means. Even 12 gauge, I wouldn't say it's overkill, but it's definitely overcapacity, without a doubt. So I'm happy with the wire that I chose. It's expensive though. I'll link it in the description. It is expensive. And not only is it expensive, they didn't even have black wire for ground. They didn't have it in stock. So I bought yellow, which was actually $10 cheaper. So I saved some money. But I mean, clearly I got a yellow wire now. So in some cases I covered it with electrical tape and it looks fine. The next thing I did is that I use a grounding block here. Now the Snow Chief package has 2 plug connections. The top one is auxiliaries 1 through 4, and the bottom one has ground and auxiliary 5 and 6 on it. The ground I connected to the block, and now I have 12 ground connections that I can use for the future. I don't think I'm going to need another, 10, but I have them if I need them. You'll see I connected it right to the battery tray. It fits perfectly. It's definitely the right move. It's super cheap and it works, and it'll allow you to expand. You don't want to take 6 wires and solder them all together. That's another thing. This took me a long time to do because I soldered, shrink tubed, and taped every single connection. And let me tell you something. There are some cases where it's 312 together because I have two lights going into one wire. So I have one wire and then I have two, right? So now I have essentially a 3-wire connection of 12 gauge. It takes a long time to heat up that. If you're doing it the right way, which you should be, is you're heating up the wire and the wire melts the solder, then it takes a long time. If you're doing it like an ape and you're melting the solder and letting it drip onto the wire, you're doing it the wrong way. But yeah, it's going to be very fast. It's going to be fast, but you don't do that. Heat up the wire, wire melts the solder. That's what you do. It takes a long time. It would have taken 3 times as long if I didn't have this Snow Chief package. I'm telling you, it's so convenient. All I'm doing is just wiring it right up and I'm hitting the button and it's done. Next thing I wanted to talk about was fuses. Technically speaking, the Upfitter control module has fuses. It's in this box right here. Problem is, I have no clue what fuses go to which switch. They don't include a legend. This top right here, you take it off, there's nothing on the inside. I have no idea why, but there's no way to find out which fuses go to which. Maybe if I went to the dealer or something, I guess. I don't care. I put my own fuses in. The fuses that are in here are big fuses. If you open it up, you'll see there's like 20 amp ones or 30 amp. It's for a snowplow. They're in here. I'm not touching them. I put my own inline fuses, watertight holder, and 12 gauge. I soldered everything. I shrink tubed everything. I taped everything. I did everything the right way. Here's how I chose the fuse size. If you don't know how to do this, I'll explain it. It's very simple. Let's say these lights right here, these 4-wheel drive King lights, they're 30 watts each. They're both going into one line. That's 60 watts. It's watts divided by volts. It's a 12-volt system. 60 divided by 12, 5. So I used a 10 amp fuse. Now, I'm thinking about switching it to a 7.5. I think that's going to be safer. I'm pretty sure I have a 7.5. Let's talk about the backlights. 18 watts each, 36 divided by 12 is 3. I used a 5 amp fuse on that. Let's say you got lights that are like 4.5. I would use the 7.5. What about 4? Now we get a little tricky, right? Personally, this is what I would do. If I had a 4 amp draw on the lights, I would put a 5 amp fuse. If it blows, I would go through everything again, look at everything, make sure there's nothing. If you're using the wire that I'm using, the SXL wire, which I'll link in the description, you're probably not going to have this problem. But if you use thin, there's a possibility you were bending it around, it split, and then it went up against some metal, touched some metal, and shorted out. You got to double check all that. If you double check everything and everything looks good, put your 7.5 in. But it's, I mean, if you're using cheap lights, maybe it doesn't matter, right? You know, but if you're spending $300 on lights, I would play it safe if I was you. Let me take you inside and I will show you how these auxiliary buttons work, because they're even more powerful than I explained in that Snow Chief video and how I'm explaining now. All right, here we are at the buttons again. If I didn't tell you also, if you hit the button and it lights up, that's how you know it's on. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I mentioned that. Auxiliary 1 is the front, auxiliary 2 is the back. They work perfect. Everything's great. Now let's look at the cluster here. Check this out. This is amazing. We're on the miles per hour right now. If I click up on the steering wheel buttons, you get to commercial settings, COMM settings. If I click right, it'll log me in. I don't have a pin set up, so right. One more right. Yep. Let's go to auxiliary switches, right? This is interesting. Click into that. Auxiliary 1. This is one of the ones that we have hooked up. Let's click into that. Now look what you can do here. Let's pick the least useful one. Type. Click into that. Latching and momentary. So right now it's on latching. That means you hit the button, it stays on until you hit the button again. Momentary means you have to hold the button. That's pretty interesting. You could switch this button right now, auxiliary 1 to momentary if you wanted to. I'm not sure what you could use that for. Maybe a heater or something like that if you want to. If a heater, you need to start it up or something. I'm not sure. But, or a generator, maybe you could wire it into a generator. That's not a bad idea, right? You just hit that button, boom, it starts it up, and then you let go. But check this out. Let's go back and let's go to power source. Battery and ignition. Right now, auxiliary 1 is on the battery choice. What does that mean? It means that if the car is off, you can hit the button, the lights go on. You turn the car off, when it's running, the lights are on, they stay on. But ignition means you need the car on. And also if the lights are on when the car is on and you turn it off, they turn off. Auxiliary 1, the power gets cut to it. You can change this on the fly. You can have auxiliary 1 and 2 on battery and 3 through 6 on ignition. It doesn't matter. You can do anything you want. And
I'm literally could do it right now, and that's how easy it is. There's nothing that needs to be rewired. It's all done by the computer. I don't see how you could duplicate this. Ignition is, I mean, that would be, if you're going on a long trip, you definitely want to put that ignition on because you don't want to screw up in the field. But maybe you want it on battery while you're at home, you know, because it's useful to be able to just hit that button if you want to leave it on for a couple minutes.
All right, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed that. If you were on the fence about the Snow Chief group, maybe just push it over the top, watch that video again, the video I did a while back. This is a super powerful group. I really think you should get if you're ordering one of these trucks. Let's talk very quickly about what you could use this for besides front and back lights. What about camp lights, let's say? Camp lights, like big lights on top of the bed or a rack or something like that. First half an hour of dark, you're cooking. You know, the fire's not very close to the truck. I'm going to say no to that. Two reasons. One is that's connected to your main battery. You cut trucks off. You're going to run those things for a half an hour and drain your main battery. Probably not a good idea. The second thing is that nowadays these solar lights are incredible. I got two attached to my fence out here. I let the dogs out at night. They automatically turn on with movement at night. Super bright. That's the way I'm going to go, and they're cheap too. Without a doubt, that's what I'm doing. What about an air compressor? If you have one of those ones that plug into a cigarette lighter, you can do that. Absolutely. Because remember, the Upfitter control module under the hood is 12 gauge. No problem at all. A cigarette lighter is a lot thinner than 12 gauge. The problem is if you need one of those crazy double compressor ARB ones, they're like $400 or something, or $500. My gut says that's not going to run off 12 gauge. Double check me on that, but I haven't looked it up. I can't not see how those things would run off a 12 gauge. I bet you it's 10 or maybe even thicker than that. Maybe the single one. They make a single. I'm not sure. I'm actually considering the single. If it works on 12 gauge, I'm getting it because that would be awesome. I would love to have the thing all wired in and have the hose there and boom, connect it and then just hit the button. That seems pretty cool to me. Then I don't even have to go. I don't have to go under the hood to hit the switch. None of that. I don't have to wire any switches. That's the way I would do it. The third thing I'm thinking about is a camera system. Maybe we got the dogs, the hunting dogs in the bed. And sometimes I like to check on him in long trips. And we got the baby too, and he's turned the wrong way still, right? So he's looking towards the back. What if I had two cameras and we had an external monitor and that was all wired in and all I do is hit the auxiliary button, everything turns on. That's pretty cool. That's all I can think about as of this moment. If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments, especially if you have any ideas for that momentary and latching idea. I got 4 extra switches. I'm hot to use them. So let me know. All right, everyone. See you.